Get free tech advice for your business from O2 Gurus. Search O2 Business for more. If you saw our first look with the Samsung Galaxy A5, you will know what to expect. It's a £320 phone with a 5-inch display and a lightweight metal body. I knew it was elegant the second I laid eyes on it. 6.7mm thin, and this thing feels premium in the hand. What's not to love, especially for a mid-ranger? Now it's review time though, and we are going to get down to the nitty-gritty to see if everything else lives up to the first impression. Available in black, blue, pink and white, we've got the pearlesque white one, and it looks very, very shiny, but in a good way. The metal's matte, it feels rich, and the phone has flat sides, making it very easy to pick up and keep a hold of. On the front, it's a 5-inch 720p display. You've also got a 5-megapixel front-facing camera, as well as a home button and 2 capacitive buttons either side. The right-hand side sports a power button and the card slots. That's nano SIM and a micro SD card slot under ejectable trays. All the ports are at the bottom. That's a 3.5mm and a micro USB jack. The left side is where you'll find the volume rocker, while around the back is the 13-megapixel rear-facing camera, the loudspeaker and flash. In a break from Samsung's tradition, the A5 has a non-removable back cover. This actually, despite it being a mid-ranger, leaves it feeling richer and more cohesive than the Samsung Galaxy Note 4. So in case I wasn't clear enough, this phone is pretty beautiful. Anyone who wants a slightly more expensive mid-ranger and is prepared to pay for design, you may want to look at the A5. As for the screen, it's 5 inches 720p Super AMOLED. Pixel density of 294 isn't the sharpest out there, but it's very respectable in the mid-range category. Unfortunately though, it is a pentile display, so that gives a degree of graininess, bittiness to the sub-pixel formation, and that does come through when you look closely. It's still responsive to the touch and delivers very punchy colors, being an AMOLED panel, as well as deep dark blacks. When it comes to movies and pictures, the A5 is in its element. The weak points probably text when compared to other LCD displays and higher end flagships out there. The icing on the cake for the screen is the Gorilla Glass 4 protective layer. Again, something you'd usually expect to see with flagships. The interface is TouchWiz on top of Android 4.4.4, and we would have loved to see Lollipop on here. Nevertheless, there are some highlights. Samsung cascades a lot of flagship features like flipboard briefing, multi-window, and the ability to change your transitions to the A5. You can also swap out themes, which is a new addition, and obviously this being an Android device, you can have a variable number of home screens, shortcuts and widgets can be deployed upon them, and you've got your pull-down notification tray and an applications tray too. A week into use, and the Samsung Galaxy A5 seems to be a smooth operator performance-wise as far as the user interface is concerned. Be interesting to hear what you guys think after a month, 2 months with the phone. Moving on to the cameras, and around the back it's that 13-megapixel camera with an f2 lens and a pretty decent flash. The camera UI is akin to that found on the Samsung Galaxy Note 4. Simple at first, but you can expand features and you can change a fair few settings. There are also a range of shooting modes too, and more you can download. Shooting modes include HDR, night and panorama, as well as a fun new addition, GIF. You can make your own GIFs, so just take a burst of pictures and it will turn it into an animated GIF so you can BuzzFeed your life. Photo quality is fair for a camera phone of this price. Give it some great lighting and you can get some stonking flagship levels of detail. It's also nice and quick to focus and take the picture. The lower the lights get, the quicker you realize this is not a flagship phone. But again, for the price, it's not really doing too badly at all. What's more, the flash does a great job of lighting things up, even if it does leave everything feeling a little bit cool. As for the front-facing camera, 5 megapixels f2.4 lens, and it defaults into beauty mode, so will instantly flatter you. You can also adjust various elements within that beauty mode. You can contour your face, you can enlarge your eyes, and you can smooth your skin separately. You look good in good lighting. In low light, it doesn't stand up that well, and it would have really been nice to have had autofocus on that front-facing camera too. As far as gaming goes, the Qualcomm Snapdragon 410 processor, 2 GB of RAM, and 720p TV screen combo have proven themselves on the Huawei Ascend G7. It's hardly surprising that the Samsung Galaxy A5 does a great job. Games like Modern Combat, Asphalt 8 play back beautifully. We played in excess of half an hour and the phone didn't get too hot, which is always a worry of metal-bodied devices. Sure, we dropped a few frames here and there, but not enough to really hamper gameplay. For ebooks, the phone does a fair job, but not a brilliant one, thanks to that bittiness I described earlier. But for photos and movies, this looks great. On top of that, Android means you get all your applications on board like Netflix, Crunchyroll for anime, BBC iPlayer if you're here in the UK, so you can very easily get content on here, and you can get your own movies on here too, given the fact you've got so many codecs supported and players downloadable through the Play Store. The Snapdragon 410 quad-core processor is clocked at 1.2 gig, and like I said, it has 2 gig of RAM. It also packs an Adreno 306 GPU. Also impressive is the 16 gig of internal memory, and the fact you can expand this by an extra 64 gigabytes via micro SD card. There's also 4G on board, as well as Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and a GPS for satellite navigation. Rounding everything off, in the Samsung Galaxy A5 has a 2300 mAh non-removable battery under the hood. That's one of the smallest batteries that I've seen for a 5-inch screened device, so I was worried reading this spec sheet. To my surprise, it did get me through a day, 9 AM to 6 PM that is. It won't get you through any longer than that if you're a power user, although if you're a light to moderate user, you can definitely make it through from morning until night. If you're an incredibly light user, you may well even be able to creep into that second day. So irrespective of the fact that I've ended on a comparative low, the Samsung Galaxy A5 undeniably impressed me. The design is accessible, elegant, and premium, while the screen is strong. It's proof that Samsung gets design more than they ever have in their mid-range smartphones. And while the Samsung Galaxy A5 is more expensive than identically spec devices like the Huawei Ascend G7, it is much richer, and so I can recommend it wholeheartedly to anyone who really values premium design in their mid-ranger. Hopefully you've enjoyed this review. If you have, make sure that you click that like button and subscribe to Btekt to stay on top of all our reviews. If you have any questions about the Galaxy A5 or anything that we've covered, fire them in the comments section below. Thanks for watching Btekt.